Thousands packed the Nelson Mulligan Carpenters Training Center in Afton to get a glimpse of their favorite presidential candidate, Hillary Clinton.
We don't have a single-issue economy, and we can't afford a single-issue president.
As she opened up to the crowd of supporters, she spoke about what she calls the violent and dangerous rhetoric of Republican candidate Donald Trump.
But we're not here to erect more walls, except when they hold up a house or a commercial building. We are here to break down all the barriers that are holding people back and to build those ladders of opportunity.
Clinton's speech focused on issues surrounding jobs and incomes.
Let's create a tax credit to encourage more high-quality apprenticeship programs to move Americans forward with their skills and their job opportunities.
In Hillary Clinton's speech, she spoke about supporting small businesses and saving jobs from going to other countries like China. And she also said, when Democrats are in the White House, the economy is much better.
Adele Schenberg of Creve Coeur thinks Clinton's experience is inspiring, and she says she has great confidence in her.
I admire her opponent in the Democratic Party, but I just think she is so much more qualified and realistic about what can be accomplished. She has a big job ahead of her with the Congress as it stands, as obstructionist, and I think she knows how to create a better climate for compromise with all of her experience.
Some volunteers traveled from Oklahoma City for the Clinton campaign to encourage people to vote for Clinton on Tuesday.
The energy was just awesome today, and I feel really good about the state supporting Hillary.
Right.
So go vote.
In Afton, Courtny Jodon, KRCG 13.
A year and a day ago, I got the phone call in the early afternoon from his mom, Alice Bava.
On August 28th in 2015, James Bava lost control of his patrol car on State Highway FF while chasing a speeding motorcyclist. Family, friends, and fellow troopers came together for the ceremony to honor his service.
Here on State Highway FF in Audrain County, you'll now see signs designating a portion of the road as the James M. Bava Memorial Highway.
Alice Bava says this day follows months of hearings, votes, and the governor signing the bill to recognize her son's dedication to the state.
There were a few here who hadn't worked with James professionally. Of course, they knew him, but they were the ones that were on the scene that only know my son in death. And as a mother, as I had spoken, it is a mother's instinct to want to preserve their children's memory and to communicate to others who that person was. He's not just a dead cop. He is a son, he is a brother, he is somebody who lived 25 years with an understanding that character counts and his integrity, and he brought that to his job.
John Rector, a longtime friend of Trooper Bava, came in from Austin, Texas, just to be at the ceremony.
I personally, even just driving down Memorial Highways now, I just stop and I think about who is that person. I've even looked up a couple of people now, honestly, even before this day. And so my encouragement to other people is it's easy to just drive past a name, a memorial, even a cemetery, and just forget that those are people, that there's families affected by those people, and our actions have consequences, good and bad.
Corporal Bruce McLaughlin trained Trooper Bava, and at the ceremony unveiled the highway dedication sign for the crowd to see.
I want people to remember him, his sacrifice, what he did for our community and our country. I also want them to remember that that is a dangerous road, and driving too fast on that road can kill. Please obey the speed limit.
The stretch of Highway FF in Audrain County dedicated to Trooper Bava begins at Elmwood Drive and runs west to County Road 977. In Audrain County, Courtny Jodon, KRCG 13. House Bill 1795 allows the state to hire a private company to process applications for welfare services, according to sponsor Representative Marcia Hafner.
I have sat through many hearings in the Appropriations Committee with Social Services and Mental Health. It became very obvious that there is a problem with processing and getting things done in a timely manner.
Hafner says people were not getting services when they needed them, but they also weren't being taken off of services in a timely manner when they no longer needed them.
The Department of Social Services Family Division makes the final decision on who gets benefits and who does not. We're just making sure that the right people are getting the right services at the right time.
Hafner says about 5 to 15% of all welfare spending is either fraud or abuse of the system. She says the Attorney General's office has already uncovered Medicaid fraud alone.
They have recovered $271 million in the last 7 years. So if someone says there really is not any fraud and abuse in the system, I think that kind of just verifies that there is and that we need to do something about it.
Glenn Keenan of Empower Missouri thinks hiring a private company is overkill because the job could be done by state employees.
We have no trouble with the idea of verifying to make sure people are really eligible for benefits. Our concerns is that under this bill, we're doing that work through a third-party vendor who's probably going to be an out-of-state company, when we could do the same thing by employing people in the state of Missouri within the Department of Social Services.
Hafner says this bill could save the state more than $20 million over the next 3 years.
The bill will be introduced to the Senate next week. At the Capitol in Jefferson City, Courtny Jodon, KRCG 13.
Thousands of people, including veterans, families, and those currently in the military, filled the tarmac of the Columbia Regional Airport. The crowd gathered to see aircrafts and parachute teams soar into the sky. But attendees realize what this air show is all about, honoring those in the military who died for our country and those who are still serving.
Well, I'm very honored to have served in the military. I joined for patriotic reasons, and I'm very proud of my ancestors who served in the military. I'm very proud of today's young people who serve in the military.
The United States Golden Knights and the Canadian Armed Forces parachute teams also perform demonstrations in the sky in the morning. There are several people from the military being honored at the air show for their service.
Lieutenant Colonel Maura George of the U.S. Air Force Reserve was one of the honored guests. She served 4 tours in the Middle East.
While I appreciate people thanking me for my service, you know, that could be on Armed Forces Day. Memorial Day is for my friends that didn't come back, and there's a lot of them. And so it's a big deal, and I know veterans all understand and they get it, and you know, everybody's supportive, but Memorial Day is about remembering those, and there's a lot of folks that I will never forget that I'm honored to have served with that didn't make it back home.
Evan George is her son.
I'm really proud, and what she's doing now is flying gliders. A few years past, she was flying C-130s, and then a few years before I was born, she flew Black Hawks. She helped a lot of people.
Lieutenant Colonel George says she enjoys coming to these events, hoping she can inspire others.
It was 2014. I had a little girl come up to me and say that she didn't know a girl could be a pilot. And so I think stuff like that, if I can talk to somebody and get them excited about an opportunity, maybe they can go into the military, that they never knew that they had that chance. That's what I think is so great about being here. Not getting attention for myself, but really being able to talk to people.
Thank you everybody who have served, and it's a good seeing some of you are still alive today.
In Columbia, Courtny Jodon, KRCG 13.